and she decided she will do everything possible to get that woman behind bar, and she will not give up. It is very difficult to fight the system. But I think films are a very powerful medium to tell people that, this is the kind of suffering that people have gone through. So if you've got an opportunity, why not fight back? And another thing is, it's always been my biggest challenge. It has always been my biggest motivation to stop the suicides. There are a lot of people who think, ab khatam ho gaya sab kuch. And of course, there are people, I think I share stories almost every day, Ramanuj, on Twitter. I feel sad that I have not been able to reach out to that many people, but I think films are a very, very powerful medium to reach masses and tell them that you're not alone, don't give up, fight back. There are people who have fought, and it is possible.
See, I have seen many people working in this area over the years. In fact, even we run some helplines. There's one helpline we run for people who are victims of sexual blackmail. And interestingly, we had expected in the beginning that there will be a lot of women who will come there and they come. But increasingly there are more men coming and saying that I have been trapped and now I am paying to these gang members. And we have been able to stop many of them. But what I see very different and I think you have done it better than many people who have tried to work on this, which is the storytelling part. Because you do work, and generally in our society, profession, everywhere, the idea is that if you do good work, don't talk about it. What is there to talk about, right? Just do good work and keep doing it as much as you can. But somewhere that takes away the power of the real stories, which you read through your movie, which you do every day on Twitter, which I really admire, and then I follow you and go through your posts. So if you can talk a little about that, like thinking of it more like a strategy, like to communicate strategy, not just, you cannot, like you said, you cannot find the system merely based on data, merely based on arguing in court, EILs, where are the stories, and bringing out the stories. If you can talk a little more about that, how did you come across this, and how did you start getting it right, and what's next?
I'm not too sure if I've got it right yet. I personally feel that there is so much to do, and I think I would need help of endless people to actually. Yeah, I am going to discuss that for sure. But coming back to your point of do good work and don't talk about it, I've chosen a strategy, or it's not a strategy. I've not thought about it. I've just kept doing whatever I could in the last 10 years. Honestly, just kept doing it. That so many times there have been extreme breakdowns, financial, emotional, and kind of being completely hopeless. कि यार क्या फायदा है? फायदा है भी कि नहीं है? Is this like a worthless fight? But then I have kept going on and on. The reason I tell these stories and I am there on social media almost every day is because somewhere somebody is listening to me. Somebody somewhere is watching these stories, and somebody somewhere is taking a call that we are not going to give up. And there are so less people doing this work, even though this problem is, I think feminists always say, कितने नंबर हैं false accusations के, कितने नंबर हैं जो आदमी प्रताड़ित होते हैं या harass होते हैं. My answer to them is, you give me a number that when 1 crore men would die, then you can start working for men. You give me a number and I'll stop working right now. That's not how things work. You have to talk about a problem when there is a problem. So the reason I put all of these things out is because there are so many platforms, there are so many organizations, there are so many people who are working for women, which is absolutely great. Of course, women need help, women need recourse, women go through so much of suffering, they need support. But what about men who are suffering? Somebody has to talk about them. And the reason I put myself completely out there was to tell people, just, yesterday there's a auntie who reached out to me whose son has been falsely accused of 498A, unnatural sex, and all of that series of baggage. And she said, Deepika, every day when we see you working so hard, it gives us an inspiration to fight back and not to give up, not to compromise, not to give in to extortion. So that's the reason I put these things out. I personally personally, I have to make so much of effort to get these stories in media. It takes so much of effort to get one news printed. I know hundreds of journalists. If you will see my WhatsApp, I send every case that I do. Recently, I did a case in Dwarka. I met the DCP Dwarka. There's a woman in Dwarka. She's mother of two, and she must be 40 right now. In the last 8 years, this woman has filed 3 rape cases, 3 molestation cases, and 1 false gang rape case as well. The story is so shocking. There are 3 people who are dead. 3, not 1, not 2, 3 people who are dead. 1 died by suicide, 1 suffered a heart attack, someone's mother jumped off to her death. And this is one woman, when I went to the DCP and I said, sir, she has been doing this for 8 years. When will you stop this? They're like, get us the evidence of extortion, ma'am. We know that this thing is happening, but get us the evidence of extortion. They don't look for a piece of evidence when a woman makes a false accusation and you think that a woman that criminal is going to come and ask money on your face so that you can record and make video. No, that's not how it happens. And even such shocking cases, I reach out to journalists, they're not interested. They don't want to tell that story because either it doesn't fetch TRP for them or I don't know what's the reason. I would applaud and genuinely thanks regional media people, जो smaller newspaper के लोग होते हैं, वो फिर भी इन stories को publish करते हैं, ऐसे लोगों की बातें हमें बताते हैं, but the mainstream media, no. As a journalist, the best thing that I could do was keep on telling these stories because these are real and these are happening every day.
So, what is next? You have made 2 movies already and you are every day waging a war on Twitter. And what else? What is next?
Next is to bring some structure to my work. Definitely an organization where a lot of people can come together and do something really, really concrete. I would definitely love to do that, but the biggest challenge that we have is, of course, financial. Fighting for men does not fall into CSR activities, so I don't know if there would be anyone who would be willing to come on board. But yes, finance is the biggest challenge that I have personally faced, and I do not want somebody to give up on their career, give up on anything that they're doing in their life, their aspirations, and they come and work for me and I cannot pay them even a 30,000 salary. I have done that and I know what it takes, but I would not want anyone else to work for free. So I wish to form an organization when I'll be able to pay people to work on this, but that's in the pipeline. And another thing is, of course, the documentaries. One of the issues that is very, very less talked about is the suffering of the children in cases of divorce. There are very, very less people who even think that is an issue when there are thousands and lakhs of children who are caught between 2 parents. So that's a issue that interests me a lot, and someday I'll work on it. But right now it's to bring structure to what I do and have more people join in to help people.
So, this is a very interesting question, and if you wouldn't mind, can we talk about organization building and finance a little more?
Yeah, there are so many people who need to tell these stories, go on ground. I'm one person. It took me 3 years to make this. On a daily basis, I get these cases where somebody has been victimized through a false case, or a man who has been victim of domestic violence, but these are spread across the country. I do not have wherewithal to reach out to everyone. So there's media that we need to intervene in. There is research that we need to intervene in. The last research, governmental backed research that happened on how boys are also victims of sexual abuse happened in 2007. Even though the Ministry of Women and Child Development, child means both girls and boys, but there is very, very less research that is available. There is very, very less intervention by the system to even understand what is happening to men or boys. Then, of course, there is counseling, there is help that has to be. So, all of these areas need to be intervened upon, and whatever organization I would make, I would want to intervene in all of these areas. But I'm not too sure how much finance would be required. I'm not too sure how big it can be. But yeah, I would really aspire to make an organization that can really be the place where people can go and seek help.
So imagine if somebody in the audience today wants to make a movie like this. What does it take? What was the journey like?
Okay, there are no set finances to making a movie. As Sanjay sir also would agree to me. There are movies that are made in 100 crores also, and there are movies that are made in 1 lakh also. So there are no standard finances. But honestly, with this kind of platforms that we have, this kind of movie of course takes a long time. But आपके आसपास कहीं पे भी कुछ गलत हो रहा है, there are so many videos that go by. So making a movie like this of course needs a lot of finances. India Sons has not got a platform yet. We had to release it on our website itself because Netflix said no. They did not give us any reason. They said it's a compelling documentary, but no. Another OTT platforms we reached out to, they also kind of said no. So it's tough to make films like this and then have them reach out to the masses. But if anybody wants to make a film and if you have stories around like this, you could either reach out to me or I could guide you how to make a film. Yeah, I think that's the only thing that I could do. But yeah, a lot of people can contribute in any different way. Also, in case you're good in writing, then maybe you can actually write something of a proper film which can be converted into a proper film and reach out to people who do take up unique and interesting stories.
So it would have taken you a lot of time to research this and build a team around this. So what was the process like?
Martyrs of Marriage has been directed by me and Neeraj. Neeraj is the person who edited Martyrs of Marriage. So it's been 10 years that we've been working together. The film is produced by Shoni Kapoor. He has a law firm and he also has an organization which is called Sahodar Trust that is a helpline for men. Other than that, everybody that you need usually to make a documentary like this would be cinematographer, sound person. So these are all people who come on a need basis. Yeah, it took me 3.5 years to make this. The initial part or the major part was research, and then was making this film. We had shot more stories, but then a very big challenge in making India Sons was I had reached out to a few people who had been acquitted. They said the case was brilliant. There was a guy who was from Rohtak. He spent 8 months in jail. He had got 1 lakh of compensation by the state because he was falsely accused, and it was a blatantly false case. Very rare where the judge gave him 1 lakh compensation. But then once the state or the judge said that the police has to give him 1 lakh rupees, the state went to an appeal. So they are not okay to give even 1 lakh rupee to a person who spent 8 months in jail despite being innocent. So they appealed his acquittal. So there were a lot of people whose cases were beautiful, brilliant, very compelling and shocking, but they backed out saying, we have at least got relief. Now if we go into your documentary and somebody goes and files an appeal, then the entire process will start again. So that was actually quite a challenging part. Apart from that, research is sort of my forte, so it did not take too much time.
So after that you have made the movie, what kind of reaction have you got? Do you see the movie making a difference in different areas?
मैंने ये मूवी सिर्फ एक पर्पस से बनाई थी, like I said before. It took 30 years for any recourse to come against misuse of IPC 498A. I'm very confident that this movie is going to reduce the time it will take for IPC 375 misuse to come to fore, and that I think there are a lot of conversations that have started. There are a lot of people who have watched the film who are talking about this. There are very good judgments that are coming out. There are people who are now going out and sharing their cases themselves without caring if they have evidences, they're putting out videos now. Documentary is one thing, there's another personal intervention also that I do in cases. So right now, there are about 15 cases I am looking after where each of these women have filed 5 to 6 rape cases. Now all of these victims are willing to fight back. So of course that's somewhere coming from the initiative of India's Sons only. This is of course a controversial topic. Recently, Jindal University cancelled the screening of this documentary. Jindal University is in Sonipat. It has a very dedicated law school also. Some students said that this film is anti-women. Did any of the audience sitting here find this film anti-women?
No, too many disclaimers for that.
Sorry?
Too many disclaimers for that.
But so they said this is talking about men, talking about victimization of men is regressive. Talking about men does not fall in sync with the idea of gender equality. I don't know who are these students, I don't know what perspective they come from, but they did not see the film for sure. They just asked the screening to be cancelled without even seeing it, and the authorities had to sort of give into it. So it's not easy to have a topic like this go out, but I'm trying every day and in conversation with a couple of police academies as well. And I think those are the destinations where this is going to make the most impact, because these police officers, these administrators are eventually going to look after these cases. So I hope I succeed. But the documentary screenings have got tremendous response. In Mumbai, we were joined by Shri Brian Shri Krishna. He's a former Supreme Court judge. And in front of the entire public, he said that this is a serious issue and needs to be worked upon. In Jaipur, we had IPS officers, we had retired justices from Rajasthan High Court. So the screenings have been really nice. The film is out there for everyone to see. I would request all of you to please write about India's Sons and ask more people to watch it.
And they can watch it on your website.
They can watch it on indiasons.com. Yep. Indiasons.com is where you can watch the documentary. Please ask more people if you like the documentary to watch it, please.
So we'll start taking audience questions also. I'm sure they would have many questions.
For that, there are some refreshments for everyone in case you want to have it outside or in case you want to